We're here with Tommy Mills today. Come up here to Benton to meet him. A great day. He brought his kids, got them out there in the park playing. Hope you can see them. They're over there having a good time. We'll keep an eye on them. Hey, Tommy was on the very first trip with Ghost Ship. The one I got tricked into doing. Didn't know I would enjoy this so much. Kind of got it all started. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Tommy, and what you got going on there, buddy.
Well, I'm now, 40 years old. I hate saying that because, I feel like I'm over the hill, but I'm not quite at the hill yet. I had a day shy of 14 years in the Army. I was in the National Guard, based out of Murray initially, 438th Military Police, and then I went over to the 617th Military Police out of Louisville, Kentucky. Volunteered with them and took a spot over there. And I enjoyed it ever since I can walk and talk. I wanted to be in the military and wanted to be a cop. That's why I joined military police. And then we, at boot camp, my dad, I called home to talk to him, and I found out that my unit was deploying back home. So I was begging to go, and they're like, hey, stay and graduate boot camp. We'll see when we get back. And I was adamant that I was going. And we were out in Phase 5 FTX, which is a field exercise, and we camped out in the woods for a couple days. And while I was out there, funny story, I wound up, I made out with a girl. That's all we done. We were back in, and my drill sergeant was like, Private Mills, you need to go see First Sergeant ASAP. So I go to his office, and he's like, pack your bags, you're going home. And I was like, all because I made out with so-and-so? And he was like, I didn't know anything about that. He's like, you got your orders, you're deploying to Cuba. And I was like, sweet. So I was rounding out the gate, I was excited. I was, of course, nervous. I was 18, first deployment. I was like, we're going to Gitmo. I was like, what are we going to do? We were a military police unit, but they also converted us to corrections officers while we were there. So we got to work detainees, the ones they were capturing at the time, because, of course, the height of the war was going on. And it was just kind of like working a prison camp. Wasn't a bad deployment. Occasional, piss and shit thrown on you, but from the detainees. But outside of that, it wasn't really that bad. And I knew I was in the service, and I knew it was real and all that. But I got off work one day, and I cracked open a beer and turned on the TV, and I see we're bombing Iraq. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I'll probably wind up here eventually. And sure enough, this deployment ends. I come home, and they're looking for people to go. I didn't have to go because I just deployed, but I volunteered to go with the 617th. And so we deployed November of 04. We hit boots on ground in Kuwait, and then pushed on into Iraq. And I was there, got home Halloween of 05. And it was definitely life-changing in positive ways, negative ways. Struggle a little bit still because I wear my bracelet for Sergeant Allers and Specialist Hayes. We had two guys that got killed. And, of course it changes as you know that it can happen and everything, but we were in for lunch, and the call came over that they had been hit, and that's when we lost Hayes. And so you just kind of got to, don't want to say push it aside, but you still got a job to do, so you got to deal with the emotions and channel it and stuff. So we, and then later on we got moved to a different location, and Sergeant Allers, we had, I think, roughly 2 weeks left on the road, and a month before we come home, and they hit an IED, and it killed him. And now has since medically retired two of our other guys that were in the truck. So it blame myself a lot because I felt like I should have been out there. Classic survivor's guilt. It should have been me, not him. But I won't hit you in the head with the Bible, but I am a Christian, so I do believe that everything happens for a reason. It wasn't my time, but I got home. It was like, oh, everything's okay, no big deal. And started struggling with the PTSD and stuff and the survivor's guilt. And it took me a while, but I finally went to the VA to get help. My family pushing me because until I was ready to go, I didn't want to go. Got in with the VA. Everything was going good, and then demons keep creeping up. And then I wound up getting with the Wounded Warrior program and went on a retreat with some veterans with PTSD and met some other people, like-minded individuals, and got some further connections from there. And I honestly don't even remember how I wound up meeting Jeremy. Some of you wound up introducing me to him, and I honestly can't recall, but Jeremy Wallace, of course, and of course they have a Soldier's Heart, Bluegrass and Muddy Waters nonprofit, and so I heard about them and stuff, and they started talking about a sailing trip to Key West, and I was like, I love the water, and Key West sounds fun, so let's go. And it was, I didn't know it early on, but I learned quickly it was I guess inaugural first trip. So we got down there, and my favorite memory from that trip was actually shining the propeller on your boat. So that still sticks out. But it was cool to like just disengage and be away from all the bull crap, back home. And I can't remember how many days, but when we went on the sail, we were without cell signal for a few days, and that was nice. Just being with everybody, being in the water and stuff, and people that weren't judging you and whatnot. And that was a good time. Got home, enjoyed that. Was married at the time, and things were going good. Then things went south, and to be honest with you, I'd already had one suicide attempt at that point, but at that point, again, probably the lowest that I've been in quite some time, and reached out to Jeremy, and within a matter of hours, I got a phone call back from him. In a matter of like a couple days, I was back down at Ghost Ship again, and where I need it. So I contribute, literally still being here to you and Jeremy and Ghost Ship and the things that y'all do, because I know you guys like staying behind the scenes and aren't looking for praise, but if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here. I wholeheartedly believe that. So I do thank you guys for what you do, because it's not just a party or anything, it's literally a life-changing event, because it puts you with people that you understand that, hey, the way that they describe it to me in counseling is it's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation, and there's still days that suck and stuff, but like you've got the network of people that we grew and now family, we check in on everybody, and it's a good thing to have and do, and it's amazing, and I miss it every day. The military service part of it, especially especially the staying in shape part of it. We don't have no more mandatory
Round
PT.
That's what I keep telling everybody.
I've got that covered though, but and I'm blessed. Obviously, I did go through a divorce, and I've since remarried, and Kaylin's a godsend. She truly understands my PTSD and my triggers, and it amazes me because I'll be sitting there struggling, and she'll be like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "You're breathing different, like something's going on." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" It's just to know that somebody that cares, not only her, but like I said, I've got 5 kids total. 2 of them are out here, but I'm in their blessing. They need me to fight every day, and that's what I try reminding myself, even on the darker days, is that what am I telling them that they weren't enough to stay here for? So I just push on, and like I said, I call it a phone tree or a safety plan or whatever, but if I'm struggling, I reach out, and like I said again, Jeremy and them and Wes and all those guys and Daniel at A Soldier's Heart is between you guys and them, literally life-saving in what they're doing. And they, again, don't look for praise. I mean, we, of course, have our fundraiser every year down at the lake, and just try to spread the awareness and realize that people don't realize how many of us there are. And the war doesn't stop when you come home. It continues every day, and I feel like that's what people are bad about is, they send you off and put you through all this shit, and then they throw you away when you get home. And it's like, what do you do? And it's something you're never gonna, I don't think there's really a cure per se for it, but you just got to channel it and work through it and take the good days with the bad, and thankfully we have, like I said, a family that we can reach out to, and and some of them local, some of them not local, but all it takes is a simple phone call. Next thing you know, you're going to be on a plane or a car trip, or somebody will be showing up, or you might be on a dinghy ride headed to a sailboat in the middle of Key West, so but it's not, and like I said, it was fun, but it was just getting connect with that people and not be judged, and know you're in a safe environment, because like I still struggle with I try to let myself show more emotion and now I try not to cry, but it's okay to, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way, and that's the biggest thing is, I feel like it's not only as soldiers, but as men in general, is admitting that, hey, we need help, or we have a problem, or, because we don't want to be labeled as weak or crazy or this, that, or anything else. So it's a whole different ball game. And I wouldn't, people ask me, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. The only thing I wish I could change is my 2 guys that we lost, Sergeant Allers and Specialist Hayes, because, they were 2 amazing men. But again, I told my dad the same thing. He's like, what happens if something happens to you? I was like, to me, there's no better way to go out than giving your life for your country, because course, you know, they tell you don't discuss politics and religion, and people will tell you we should have never been there, but when you sign up to fight for your country and your boss says you got to go, you got to go. And, you know, I was ready to pay that price if I needed to, but obviously I wasn't one that did, but we did have some, and of course several others that I don't know that did. So it's a whole different ballgame now, you know, and I would go back in a heartbeat. I mean, not only for the physical fitness side of it, but I don't miss all the political stuff from it, but I miss, like I said, because you lose that sense of purpose, you know, and you have to find something to do. And thankfully that's where I met up with Team Rubicon, so I've been able to get back through them and whatnot, because they're a veteran-driven disaster response organization. So it's just continue. And like I said, you guys still doing what you do, reaching out and coming back in town, and just knowing that there's somebody there that genuinely cares. It's not, you know, because you guys obviously aren't in it for the money, you know, because if it wasn't for people like you guys donating your time and probably some of your own money as well, and other people's sponsors and donors, it wouldn't be able to happen. And it makes a difference. You're truly saving lives. It's not you know, because I don't know the current stat, but I've always been told that, you know, we lose 21 veterans a day to suicide, which is 21 too many. But literally with what you guys are doing, what Jeremy and them are doing, it's literally helping us not become that number, you know, one of those numbers. And I'll do it all over again. You know, it's part of my life. I won't get back, but it's helped shape me who I am today. And there's nothing saying that I can't have, you know, a good, healthy, successful life moving forward. You just got to put your foot down and keep driving. And if you do need help, you know, reach out, whether it's the crisis line with the VA or, you know, your local buddy, because there's so many out there that are going through it you don't even realize. And people aren't out there to make fun of you or judge you. You know, they want you. There's people that love you and care about you that want you to be here. Like, you know, my kids, obviously they're kids that get on my nerves sometimes as I get on theirs, but, you know, and I do. I sometimes at night just lay there and cry looking at them sleeping, because I'm so blessed to have them, and they need me here. You know, and that's why I've taken the steps I have to make sure I have plans in place. And, you know, it's like I said, I'm thankful for my wife Kayla and stuff, because I even tell her, like, if she knows I'm struggling, you know, she makes sure that the weapons are put up and stuff like that. Like, some people are like, well, why do you have to do that? But sometimes that's what's necessary. So that's what myself, and like I said, just a way to kind of give back, because like I said, I'll always, you know, like I said, especially, you know, Ghost Ships, you know, whether we get a new one, a second one, refit that, I mean, it's always been near and dear to my heart, because like I said, it, you know, there's beyond a shadow of a doubt, it literally saved my life, you know, so I feel, you know, it's always going to have a piece of my heart with it. And of course we got our Scallywags tattoos, so
hold that up to the camera over here.
Yeah,
on this camera here.
It was fun, you know. And then people all the time, and it tells a story. Of course, all my tattoos do, but everybody's like, "What's that? And why do you have that? Like, what do you know?" So I'm like, "Well, if you got a minute, let me tell you." You know, so it's, and of course, I still, like I said, I got the shirts. I need to see if I can have one. Again, that whole round figure. I got one that I want to see if I can have my lady that does my shirts here make one, just put it on a different shirt, a bigger size for me. Oh, we can go faster now.
It was really nice to be able to catch up with Tommy and see him enjoy spending time with his family, as well as hearing him share some fond memories of being with us on Ghost Ship.
I left the part out about my near-death experience at the shipwreck.
Go ahead and tell it.
So, man, that was, of course, I was more out of shape then than I was now, but I swear the water turned out of nowhere, but I literally, and you know, like, I'll come back in the dinghy, and I'm sitting there treading the water, and of course we have the shipwreck, and I hang on to it, and I'm hanging on to it, and it's wood. So of course, and I feel myself getting cut up, not majorly cut up, but I can feel it scratching. And of course I'm thinking blood, because we had already pointed out was it a bull shark or some sort of shark that you'd pointed out to us. So I'm just thinking blood, shark. I was like, this is it, man. I'm gonna be a goner. And thankfully y'all come back in the dinghy, and somehow I got my fat ass up in that thing. And I mean, I'm man enough to admit, as soon as my back hit the thing, I started crying like a baby, man. I was full-blown panic attack. I was like, this is it. I'm not, you know, of course we didn't have cell service, so I was like, I can't call my kids, and my body's gonna be gone. I'm not, you know, but I laugh about it now. And it did make me skittish for the water for a little while, but we just got back from Panama City Beach from fall break, and I was out in the ocean quite a bit of ways out there, so I think I've got past all that.